talk about ribs. So this is my last airing with Brian Teeters, who I'm very excited is here with me today. How are you, partner?
How you doing? Good
I
to
have
see
not
you.
seen you.
It has been a minute.
Championship award-winning barbecue guy, all right?
Yes, sir.
He is the man behind these incredible ribs. And I think, Brian, you would agree, you know, most people don't like to buy ribs off the TV because they're like, listen, I've had the ones at the supermarket in the bag. They're tough. They don't have any flavor. Because guess what? They're not smoked in barbecue championship fashion like these are. Brian and his team do all the work, the seasoning, the cleaning, the spicing, the rub, the weighting, and what you get is fall apart tender ribs. Now what we're doing is we are doing 4 pounds of these. So if you come on over to here, and we'll get, Brian's gonna get going and showing you some of the goodness in a minute.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get 2 2-pound racks. These things are huge, okay? I don't know if I can lift one up and show you the size of it, all right? These are giant. This right here would probably feed 2 to 3 people, all right? You're gonna get 2 racks. You have your choice. You can go the sweet honey, or you can go the tangy. I kind of like the tangy because I know it has a little more of that kind of apple cidery, a little more vinegar to it. I like that, all right? But you can get either one, and they will be delivered right away. I think it's the end of June you will get them, so plenty of time for the 4th of July. What I like to do with mine, and anybody can, you can put them on the grill, do whatever, but they're gonna come to you frozen, so when you thaw them out, squeeze the sauce into a separate container. All right, because the sauce is already on there and it's amazing. And then what you want to do is I would put them on a sheet pan, all right, with some foil, whatever. And I like to put them in the oven, and I like to slowly bring them back to life. Like I only do it at like 250. That's how I do it.
Yep.
You can go faster if you want.
You can.
But I like that since they are a slow cooked rib, they're kind of getting that slow cooked magic back.
That's right.
And then add that sauce on the end. These are $99 every day of the week. We are doing it at $79. That is a steal because these 2 jumbo racks of ribs, if you try to get them in a restaurant, you would not get that price. First of all, they'll give you a half rack and they'll charge you $25.95. All right, you're getting double that with what we're doing today. So Chef, you are here today, my man. I have not seen you in months.
It has been a minute.
Welcome back to our show.
It's good to see you, man.
You too,
it really
buddy,
is. Yeah, you know, Killer Grillers barbecue or competition barbecue team, like you mentioned. And so been absent a little bit being here because we've been doing some competitions there, guy. So,
good.
Yeah, we just
got to keep you working.
That's right. We just completed the World Championship contest, which is in Memphis, and you know the goal there is obviously to win it, but to get in the top 10, you get to walk the stage and you get a trophy. You know I'm addicted to trophies. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
We came in 5th place in the world Championship.
In the world.
And so that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting here.
That's pretty good.
This is competition style.
I would have settled for top 100.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is competition style barbecue.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we're delivering, coming right to your door.
You rarely see that in barbecue. You rarely see a lot of the top barbecue chefs also being able to deliver to people, right?
Right.
They have restaurants, they have all this other stuff. This is one of the only, these are the only ribs that we serve, and it took a long time for us to find them. I love that shot where you can actually see the bone coming through.
Right.
But these go through the entire process that he goes through when he is in a competition. And when you get them home, you will see that smoke ring. You will taste that smoke, and it's a light smoke. It's not a heavy duty smoke.
It's a mix. We do a hickory and applewood smoke mix, and so that way you're getting that sweet smoke in there, right? And even with the tangy. So you may like the apple cider vinegar piece of this, like you mentioned, more so than the sweet. You got both. You can get both, obviously, too, right? And so they're available to you. But these are coming to you in a competition style, not a restaurant style, not a grocery store style. And you just feel how tender they are, right? This is unbelievable. It just almost melts, doesn't it? Yeah.
And there's a lacquer. You know, on the outside of it, there's this kind of just wonderful sweet, like lacquer on the top that, you know, from that sauce getting caramelized.
That's right.
That is so great.
Yeah.
And I also love they're cooked properly.
Yes.
I bought years ago, there was a famous quote unquote company that did ribs at retail.
Okay.
It's one person's name, began with the double L.
Okay.
I won't tell you who it was. I used to try to get those, and it was always inconsistent. One time they were really good, the next time they were undercooked.
Yeah.
And I had to put them back in foil and cook them for another 2 hours. These are perfectly cooked. And remember, with competition barbecue, you don't want them to fall apart. You want to have a little pull.
That's right. You want
Right?
to have their integrity, right? But then you have just a little bit of pull, so you're getting that nice bite that you're looking for when you pull these ribs apart. And that tenderness is what's spot on. And you see the nice smoke ring in there, right? You can see where these are perfectly smoked, okay? And then when that bone comes out of there, it'll start to what you call bleach. And what that means is that bone starts to turn white. That's how you know they've been perfectly smoked.
Okay.
So they haven't been boiled or anything,
right?
You know, put into an oven. However, when they come to you, the killer grillers have done all the hard work for you. Yeah. So all you've got to do is open the bag, put them in an oven-safe dish. The instructions are in there. Heat and eat, and you're ready to go.
Brian knows, because I've worked with Brian several times before. He knows I have a big smoker box at the house.
That's
all right,
right.
I bought it about 4 years ago. And I was all hot on it, you know, in the beginning. I was, oh, this is great, this is so much fun, look at me, I'm a barbecue guy, you know, and I had a little bit of skill doing it. But the problem was, when I do ribs, first of all, I have to go and hand select the ribs, so I gotta go to the grocery store. And it's hard to find really good ribs, even in a grocery store. A lot of them are misshapen, like they're small at one end and large at the other, which means they're not gonna cook evenly.
That's right.
These are all hand selected to look as good as they're gonna eat, right? With a perfect kind of xylophone of ribs. So I would have to do that. Then I gotta bring them home, clean them, wash them. I gotta get the silver skin off the back, which is a nightmare. You're trying to do that with a paper towel, it takes forever. Then I would season, and then I'd have to wrap them in foil.
That's right.
And then I gotta bring them, first, actually, before I do that, first I'd season, then in the smoker.
In the smoker, that's right.
And I'd do them for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, because I don't wanna over smoke. It's not a shoulder, so it's gonna get smoky pretty quick.
Correct.
Then I take them out, and now I gotta wrap them in foil, and then I gotta go put them back out there for a while. I don't even sauce them yet. I just got the rub on them. Then I gotta take them out, and that's the time where I have to actually start putting the sauce on. Brian,
yes,
I'm at 6 or 7 hours.
Yep.
And you know what I'm not in the mood for at the end of that?
You're not ready to eat them now. Right.
Because I've been smelling barbecue all day. These are gonna come to your house ready to go. In fact, I got the bag right here. So here's how it comes. It's a big jumbo bag. There are 2 huge racks inside here. And remember, the sauce is inside.
Yep.
What you want to do is you can put one in the freezer if you only want to take one out. One will probably feed, like I said, at least 2 to 3 people. Easily, maybe 4. Especially if you're doing corn on the cob and whatever else you're doing on the side, coleslaw. You're gonna get 2 of these jumbo racks. So you can eat them now or you can eat them later. They're gonna be delivered to you plenty of time for the 4th of July. I think they go out at the end of June. That's when they'll be delivered. I think it's the June 30th. These are gonna come to your house. Now you can enjoy the 4th of July or any summer picnic, and all you have to do is heat and eat.
That's it. The instructions are in the bag, just like you mentioned, and all that work you were just talking about of the selecting of the rib, seasoning of the rib, smoking of the rib, all that work. The killer grillers have done all of that work for you. So all of the hard work is done, and the tenderness is just spot on with that rib. That rib is spot on.
Look at this right here. You got to look at this. This is like the perfect rib, and we'll come in real close. So if you look at the top, there's that glassy lacquer I was telling you about. And then if you look in here, you can see that there's gonna be some pink in there, right? And then there's the bone on the other side. But what's important to me too is the bottom of our ribs. When you look at the bottom of this rack, you see that mahogany color, and you see how the bones are starting to pull away from that little tendon that's in there? That's when you know that these ribs are ready to go. And look at that. I mean, and you see there's a pull there, right?
Yep.
And so now when I eat the rib, and I'll grab this one right here, you'll see my bite mark. See how it holds together?
That's what you're looking for in competition.
Right.
Yep.
You don't want this whole thing to strip off, right? It'd be like if you took a bite of an ear of corn and all the niblets fell off. You don't want that.
That's right. That's right.
And what makes a rib so good, it's right on the bone. It's different than pulled pork in that, I think it's a more intense flavor because you get that more of that char.
You do.
But Brian,
and
I could never make this.
Yeah, in order to make it a competition style rib, it's got to be the timing, the patience, the selection of the rib, everything that you're talking about.
Good.
And we have such a great time doing this as a competition team because it's all about family and friends. And how we got this rib this perfected is because my wife is my toughest critic. My biggest fan, but also my toughest critic. She's here with me today.
I saw her.
Yeah,
I know.
she's right over there.
There she is.
Yeah.
What's your wife's name?
Jen.
Jen?
Jen. Jen.
Hi, Jen. He said gin, so I wasn't sure.
That's
Not like gin, not gin and tonic.
Yeah, that's
Jen.
the country. That's the country. That's that Tennessee coming out in me.
All right, we are very busy, and we're down to our last 5 or 6 minutes. We're doing free shipping and handling. We'll deliver these to your house. It's one of my staples in my tasty shows is the ribs, or some version of them, and your pulled pork, which is nothing better on the planet than your pulled pork.
Sure.
But it took us a long time to get these and to pick them, all right? Remember, all you need to decide is, do I want sweet honey? If you like it a little bit sweeter and with not as much of the vinegary kind of apple cider note, then go that. But if you love it, I like the tangy. And remember, you are going to get plenty of sauce in the bag to put more on, so you can use as much or as little as you like. But they are the perfect ribs. You're not going to find these in retail. You're not going to find these in stores. They're right here. And this is championship competition barbecue. And if you've never had that, you've probably been to a really, really, really good barbecue place, right? That you love. Well, guess what? Most of those guys are not championship barbecue guys. They're just people that love barbecue.
That's right.
This guy has won divisions. 5th, would you say, in the world?
5th in the world championship in Memphis.
You got to try these, man.
Yep.
You just gotta.
Yep.
And again, it's funny because you spoiled me, because I would go out and I would make the ribs, right? But like I said, and Jen, I'll tell you, I would get to the end of where the ribs are ready, and I didn't want them anymore. I'd be like, I am so smoked out. I'm sure you guys know the feeling because you live it. But when somebody makes you barbecue and you're hungry, there is nothing better. I mean, you got a rack of ribs, corn on the cob, coleslaw. I am in heaven. That is a heavenly combination. I'll make the coleslaw. I don't mind. I don't need something to make. I'll do that. But when it comes to barbecue, I've learned, and when I was in the restaurant business, because I was in the restaurant business for 18 years, I learned something from a couple of the people that I worked with, one of the owners. And he said to me, he goes, listen, if we can make it ourselves, let's do it. But if somebody makes it better than us, let's buy theirs and serve it in the restaurant. So all our desserts were made by a lady that we called her the pie lady. Mrs. Haas is her name. Oh, I don't know if she's still with us, but lovely lady, and she just made great pies. And Tommy, who was my boss, was like, nobody can touch this lady's pies. Why am I bothering making pie when this lady makes it better?
Yeah.
So we would do that. That is how I feel about these ribs. You're never going to be able to do it better yourself. Yeah, you can go to a championship barbecue place somewhere and get on a plane and go there and have barbecue. Why not let us deliver it to your front door at the lowest price we've ever done? Hey, Rob, how am I doing as far as quantity on the tangy? If you want tangy, there's about 200 or so left, all right, which is not a lot. And if you want sweet honey, there's a little over 300. That is it. And this is the last show with me. I'm sure Brian might be going to Pennsylvania. We love his stuff. And it's been very popular here at the network, but get it home. And you're looking at just one rack of ribs. And you can see that could feed 4 or 5 people, right? Because serve it with something else. You know, you could do ribs and you could do chicken, right? But then you've got the ribs that nobody else in town knows about. And you want to take credit for it, go ahead.
Yes.
Brian doesn't care.
We're absolutely happy with that. So you can warm it up in your oven, or you can fire up your own grill and smoker. And let your friends know, your neighbors know that these are your ribs.
The first time I ordered them from you, I did it that way. I had a big old Weber out there, and I had some coals on there, and I left them in the oven, and I put them on the coals. I actually like them just heated in the oven because the work is already done.
Already done.
You don't need to smoke them anymore. You don't need to char them anymore. The original char and smoke that's in them will become enhanced as they come to temperature in your oven. Again, if it's me, I go like 250, 275, and I'll leave them in there for an hour. Because I don't like, first of all, they have sauce on them, so you don't want to burn the sauce. But also, it's the way that they're actually cooked. When you think about it, because I know I don't know everything about how you do it, but I know with me, I got to keep that temperature relatively low to keep the smoke, otherwise it all burns up. So you're basically heating them like they were cooked.
Yeah.
All right. So we always get busy at the end. Everybody's like, honey, you got to get me those ribs. You see that guy eating ribs on TV? You got to get me those ribs. You will get them, and guess what? On the 4th of July, if you're buying like a couple of orders, your work is done. All you got to do is get some cabbage, make some slaw, all right, and get some corn on the cob, and
hang out with the family.
And I love ribs because ribs are like real eating. You're using your hands.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You got to get
That's
dirty.
why we got 38 towels.
That's
out
right.
here.
That's right. You got to get dirty.
You're really using your hands to get them. If you buy them today, you can get them on free shipping and handling. We like to do that on all our food. And honestly, it's the easiest meal. You get the best bang for your buck on this. And remember, when you look at this and you go, well, $79.95, that's 2 racks, that's a lot. You know how much work it is to do it yourself? It is worth every penny. There are some things that you pay for, and really good ribs is one of them, right? There's things I won't do because I'm like I said before, I'll never be able to replicate what these guys do because they have the equipment, they have the experience, they have access to the meat, which is always the best. And at the end of the day, there's a huge difference. I've been to bad barbecue places, you know, like chain restaurants that do barbecue.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
You can tell it hasn't been done over hours. It's been done very quickly.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's been frozen,
Yep.
you know, and then kind of rebooted.
And that's the thing. This isn't a chain, right? This isn't a restaurant. This isn't a grocery store. This is competition style.
Yeah.
So exactly how we do in competitions and win those trophies off of this is exactly what you're getting delivered to your house. And it's just a heat and eat, real easy. To your point, just put it in an oven-safe dish and you're ready to go. Or again, fire up your smoker and tell them you did it. But again, all the work's done.
Yeah,
all the work's done.
I was remiss in one thing. You know what else goes really good with it? Macaroni and cheese.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
You can
Macaroni and cheese with any, and by the way, you guys have macaroni and cheese too. And their macaroni and cheese is wonderful as well.
We do.
On sale, last of the quantity. My last show with Mr. Brian Teeters, and I'm excited to see him. It was wonderful to meet your lovely wife, Jen. Jen, nice to meet you. Thank you, partner.
Good to see you, buddy.
We got barbecue hands, so we can shake.
Yes,
We're good
sir.
to go.
Yes, sir.
093-385 is the item number if you want to pick those up. Thanks, buddy. It's good to see you.
You
Thanks.
too.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks for coming in, too.
Yes, sir.